It's Wednesday, it's October 25th, 2023. I'm in this monetary system within the United States of America, within the Federal Reserve. Um, as far as the U.S. Treasury, this is the monetary system. That's the flag that they have throughout the territory or throughout the district, zone, and area and country, and throughout the state of New York. I was inside um, the local new job that I have, and a concern was flagged, which I made my hand gestures to the security camera, um, because there was this person that came in with what they call two cases of beer at the register. And I carded him as I was told. He had a New York State driver's license, which is fine. There's conflicting, like, again, I work, my father owned a business with a compliance area and department. Like, policy and store policies matter. Um, to work in this new, like, and again, and I am so eternally grateful for the ability to work for compensation in my local area, but there are some areas of concern that I have. One being that this person came and showed me the New York State driver's license, so that fact checked out. I'm ringing the case of beer. I plug in his birth date. He's over 21. Um, but then he goes to use his phone on the credit card machine, and it makes a beep sound, and I'm like, and I look up thinking that it was going through the entire approval process. So he cut me out of this transaction altogether, and he used some kind of tax free off of alcohol. And then he tapped it again and he leaves with the receipts. So I flag over a manager for a consult, and I'm like, is there something that like, it was alcohol. How could it be tax exempt? I was like, do I need to fill out some kind of form or paperwork or incident report? Like, how does that work? Like, who do I report this to? Because I'm concerned if this is some kind of like new fraudulent scheme or schematic that the public is doing. Like, how do I protect the state of New York, our federal system, our state system, our country system, our IRS, the tax collection period that keeps us all running and operating appropriately, for services and things that are much needed? Um, and it's just like, so she took the receipt, she printed out a duplicate receipt, she walked over to somebody, and then she comes back and she's like, if I didn't know the story, she thought that you put it in as tax exempt. And I didn't think of it at the time, but I'm like, I'm not able to do tax exempt stuff. Tax exempt is when they come in with something and a manager has to be involved with a key. There's no override I could do by myself as just a SS clerk or a cashier. So they so that whole interaction just left me, like, as having a compliance department, having worked in the banking industry, I'm like, I am so frightened of, like, it's, I mean, again, it's first incidents that, like, I'm now aware of, but like, what is my responsibility? Like, I don't even, and then I understand, like, you ask the next higher up in command and in the chain of command inside the store, like, who's minding the store? I don't know right now. But the management that I have access to, I brought it to their attention. It was on video surveillance today. And then, like, as I walked through the scenario, more red flags start coming up. And I'm just like, again, so, whatever on that. And then I'm trying to think about back to another time and space, whatever it was. And like, if I was building a compliant, like with the health stuff, like I was going through that in my mind on like putting together a routine for me. Because as far as training goes, and again, like I don't want to get my manager in trouble. I don't want to get my like the assistant or the front end manager, but like, who do you and how do you safely bring these things up to? Because it's partially public health concerns with the cleanliness of the store and how the employees are being trained to help out in the public health. But again, like that goes back to when the generation just before I arrived and before that, certain things were very different. Like their education systems were different. Like they signed up for careers, they got special training in the field, and then they were really like the expert in that field. In my life frame, it has not, there's no expertise anywhere. Like I'm sure there's people who have had, I mean, I'm across many fields. Um so going from banking, going from healthcare, going from in the hospital, going to out of the hospital, but like with compliant teachers, like with compliance teachers, which is what's important. Um, so I'm just in a different position when I'm observing, and I'm like, and I don't want to get the new like I don't want to get my new employer manager in trouble or the store in trouble. I don't want to have the store closed because then that would be devastating for all of the residents of the area. Um, but like there's just, while some of my career training has been with compliance officers, there's been such a large gap of like, and then I think of credit cards and this contactless credit card system, and I'm like, if I didn't know any better, I could draw a parallel to my own life. Like, I know that there's service members and there are compliance officers out in the field that get paid and that do this. And I'm sure that there's groups of them that do complain about certain things, but where the bureaucracy is and where aristocracy is and where the people stand is where I'm just left at like, I just watched Star Trek one episode last night and they talked of Warp 10. Like, for a trendy reference that I wouldn't have had until I saw it last night. And will I carry it with me to like next month? Maybe the reference, maybe not. I mean, will I remember the name or not? I'm having a little bit of issues with like short-term memories being converted to long-term memories and holding them with me, which is why I'm so diligent on marking my Facebook page with each incident and occurrence in a time sequence. So this way, almost like as a building block and a reference back, because so many things are going on at the same time. It's like rapid fire. Um, and I'm like, like if I had like Mike Hewson, like as a personal, like go to, or Eric, or any of the other personnel that has some class that I could speak to and just consult with, that like, here's what I'm seeing, a handler would be really great, would be really swell. But I don't even have access to that at the moment. It's like, just almost like the store could just drop me off and I'm just like, I so I don't know. And then when you like lose these people, like you get a one-time contact and then you just lose them in the field. Like how do you find them again? Like how do you find your people, your persons again? Um if they have compliance things that they know about. I mean, they were the ones that the GOD gave me that put them in my life path. So they are obviously important to me and I hold them in high importance. But I don't know. Again, I just, there's so much that I see that's deteriorating. And I have a young son growing up here. I'm trying to survive here. My legs are going, my weight, I'm like, my immune system is being, I feel like, pummeled daily with all sorts of stuff. Um, and I don't know how to rectify it in an appropriate manner where I don't like self-incriminate or I don't get myself in trouble. I don't. Um, so I don't know what to do. So this thing with this beer and this new tap tax free, like they're overriding via our computer systems, like right in front of my face. So I mean, like I made a big thing on surveillance, like I did to the NYPD camera when I have certain things going on, to flag my own account and then my surveillance in the area. So this where there's some part of teamwork or with me and the camera crew of like, I mean, they used to say Superman, like, he used to go into the phone booth. We don't have phone booths anymore, but I have NYPD on surveillance on a pole. So good enough as far as NSA reporting goes, because they're like official agency capacity of some sort. Um, like I'm looking for these fail safes to fail safely and just to, I don't know. I just I just really wish that I had a face and a name of a handler that I could trust and I could report these things without causing like massive fires. Like, I mean, with the like inalienable right kids and lawsuits and whatever in like a designated survivor type of a way. Um, it's as like Federal Reserve notes is like the only thing I have to go off of with the United States of America. Um, it's star 1978, star 8378, Nicole Keteros, it's Earth, solar system, Milky Way universe, galaxy is broken, and it's Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361.